Am I live?
Have you popped on your stories as well?
Yeah, I have. Am I live, guys? Can you see me?
Let me refresh it. Yes, you're live.
Yeah, I'm here. Wow. Okay, this is my first live stream, so I'm a bit of a novice. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. I didn't actually expect really anyone to turn up, so this is quite exciting. Of course, I'm joined by Pickles P because she is the best behaved bird in the flock, but we may get other flock members out today to take part in the live stream. But yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Essentially with this live stream, we're kind of doing what David did on his channel, where it's kind of like a Q&A if you want us to have like a discussion, because David's going to join me a little bit later. But for the time being, I'm going to have a little read of the chat. It may take me a few minutes to kind of get to you because the chat is really small and I'm visually impaired, but it's fine. We're gonna have a look at the chat because there's quite a few of you here and you've been chatting for ages. That's awesome. And also, I would like to apologise in advance because we just know that I'm going to pronounce everyone's names wrong. So if I do that, full apologies, but that's just the way it is sometimes. So hi, Angie. Thanks for joining. Monica's here. Hi, Monica. Apologies. You know, I've tried to set the kind of timing so as many people as possible can join us. And of course, Kipling's going to be noisy. But again, you know, if you're joining us later and you're watching this after it's already happened, then thank you for watching. And hopefully I can do another live stream where maybe we can kind of fit in everyone's time zones as possible. And David's going to try and get Kipling to be quiet, but he just gets really excited with this sort of thing and with the light on and all that kind of stuff. So it's real life. Living with birds are not going to be silent for this, but they were well behaved in David's one. So we'll see if they want to behave in my live stream, which they probably won't. But yeah, do feel free to drop any questions in the chat. And we'll just have a chat, and I'm more than happy to chat to you and answer anything. So let's have a look. Cocky and the Dragons. Again, apologies, whichever is your pronunciation with that. So how do I know my cockatiel's breed and gender without taking like DNA tests? So cockatiels are just cockatiels. There isn't like a subspecies or anything like that of cockatiel. They just are what they are. But when people talk about kind of colorations and that kind of thing, it's really hard. I'm not an expert on colorations and that kind of thing. I know some people get kind of pernickety about what a particular coloration a certain bird is. To me, as long as they're healthy, I'm not really bothered. So you can kind of have a look online and see what other people say are certain types, like pied or normal grey male, that type of thing. You probably hear David typing in the background to respond to you guys. But yeah, it doesn't really matter what type they are. Kipling. Yeah. So what have we got here? Hi, Karen. Want some advice how to sort of tell your bird that they've done something wrong? I had a DM on Instagram about this as well. You know, how does punishment work? How do you discipline your bird? And we always go down the route of it's better to ignore bad behaviour and reward behaviour you want to see more of. So say, for example, your bird has bitten you. And again, there's going to be loads of things that could be underlying in this, whether it be hormones or diet, cage setup, that kind of thing. But say, for example, your bird bites you. The best thing to do is to not react. Set them down somewhere neutral. Don't put them back in the cage because, again, they're going to learn that if they bite you, they just go back in the cage. Set them down somewhere neutral. Ignore them for 5 seconds. No eye contact, no chatting. And then after that 5 seconds, go and resume the interaction. So give them an opportunity to earn reinforcement after that point. So they know that when they bite, nothing fun happens. It's really boring. But if they are well behaved and calm, then that's when something more enjoyable is going to happen where they have the opportunity to earn reinforcement. So that's the best course to go about it, because parrots do not respond to punishment. It doesn't work with them. It's just one of those old school things that just really isn't good. They don't link cause and effect like we do. So, you know, if you're shouting when your bird does something wrong, they just get excited because you're making loads of noise. They're not understanding that you're saying no, or whatever colourful language you may be saying to your bird when they're being cheeky. So it's better to ignore behaviour you don't want to see, unless, of course, they're in danger, and then reward behaviour you want to see more of. And, of course, tweaking things like diet and cage setup and all that kind of stuff to make sure that they are getting the best lives possible. And of course, chip and fish, they just want to scream because, you know, they just show me up. I'm supposed to be a bird trainer and they're just being naughty. So that's always good fun. I mean, we can always get them out on set. Yeah, David's going to get them out. Let's just have all the birds out. I mean, why not? Let's just cause some more chaos because that's just my life, really. Hi, Gina. Gina's here. We love Gina. One of my patrons as well. Chip and fish are here. Woohoo! So it's all kicking off here. Right, what have we got? What fresh foods have the most nutrition? Should I give my cockatiel some seeds every day? Can birds have allergic reactions? So can birds have allergic reactions? Not exactly, but they can definitely have sensitivities to certain foods. You know, like with us humans, we sometimes have sensitivities to certain foods. It's the same with birds. It's not as common, and there aren't really tests to determine whether they're sensitive to certain things or not, but they can have sensitivities. Can the birds have seeds every day? Yes, but everything in moderation. You want that as part of a nice balanced, raw, fresh, whole food diet with loads of variety and diversity. And what fresh foods have the most nutrition? If we talk about fresh foods overall, then sprouted seeds, grains and legumes, they're amazing. They have loads of plant-based protein and loads of nutrients in there, and they're a live food that is really nutritious for birds. But a lot of the kind of red and orange vegetables like peppers, butternut squash, pumpkin, they're quite nutrient dense as well. So they're ones to include in your bird's diet quite regularly. And most of those red and orange ones are a great source of vitamin A. And a lot of birds in our homes are actually deficient in vitamin A, especially when they're on an all formulated pellet diet or an all seed diet or a predominantly diet of those sorts of things. So definitely include lots of nice red and orange vegetables, as well as sprouted seeds, grains and legumes, and lots of other yummies in the diet as well. Right. Oh, you guys are so nice. Pellets with peanuts. Right, so pellets with peanuts. Peanuts are not the most nutritious food in the world, and there are pellets that have peanuts as part of them. I think, in my personal opinion, the only pellet that we really recommend and feed as part of a balanced diet is Tops. It hasn't got peanuts in it, and of course pellets with peanuts in it isn't great for people who have allergies or sensitivities to peanuts. And I apologize, Kipling's gonna be so naughty in this live stream, because why not? Because he didn't do it for you, did he?
Only a little bit.
Just mute me for a second while they really naughty. Right, let's have a look. There's so many of you here. Hi, guys. You guys are really, really nice. All your kind words and stuff. So her diet consists of supreme, rowdy bush pellets, oats, quinoa, milk thistle seeds, eucalyptus, sprouts, wheatgrass, and veggies and things like that. She won't eat Tops. I've tried for months. So pellets we don't see as a huge part of birds' diets. We see them as like an extra if you want to. And again, I only recommend Tops. When you have a look at the nutrition and ingredients list of other pellets, you will notice quite a difference. I know some people are a bit funny about the alfalfa content in Tops, but again, pellets should not be a huge part of your bird's diet. I've got loads of videos coming up on nutrition. David and I are actually studying animal nutrition right now, so you know that your information you're getting from us is legit and it's unbiased. So yeah, Kipling's really distracting. Yeah, I don't recommend any other pellets to be part of a diet, but I do recommend lots of fresh vegetables, sprouted seeds, a diverse dry mix like we like to make, and things like that. So it's better to diversify the diet in that way with real foods that your bird can actually digest. We call it bioavailable foods. More natural foods that aren't processed. You're going to have to go over there, I think, because he's just being so noisy.
When it's time to sort it out.
Let's just angle this way, and David can go and shush Kipling a little bit because it's very distracting. Can you go over there, please?
We need to give on time to get it sorted. So I need to supervise these two.
Yeah, I know. He definitely didn't do it when David was doing his live stream, so
you'll be fine, you know.
Yeah, can you go over there now, please? So let's have a look.
Right, come in.
So yeah, if you want to get your bird to be interested in things like tops, there's a great comment here about putting them into like a coffee bean grinder. David's just going to hang out in the background there and try to chat to Kipling and stuff. Having them in a coffee grinder, grinding them up and then sprinkling them over the food that your bird likes already. They'll kind of stick to them and be more tasty that way. So, you know, trying new things, pretending you're eating them as well is always a good thing. If they think that you are interested in them, they'll probably be quite interested in them as well. But again, pellets aren't a natural food, if you like. So it's understandable that some birds are less likely to want to interact with them. Tops also do like a bird bread, which you can try. It is a baked product that you make at home yourself, but again, it may transition your bird onto trying tops or trying fresh foods as well. It's like an orchestra here sometimes when we're trying to maintain all the birds. I just knew that they were going to be noisy today. So again, I apologize if it's winding your birds up as well, because it's so much noise. So let's have a look on here. Is beechwood okay for birds? Absolutely, you can definitely use beechwood. Where are you going? Do you want to come here? Do you want to come and say hi to everyone? Here's Pickles P. Everybody loves pickles, don't they? Do you want your straw? It's our favourite toy here, is straws stuffed with hemp seed and sunflower seed. It keeps usually all the conures quiet unless you're doing a live stream, in which case we're all going to be noisy. Yeah, flowers are amazing as well. Flowers are great enrichment for birds, as long as they are safe flowers. Again, I have a really comprehensive kind of safe foods list. So if you ever want that, drop me a DM or an email. I've put it on my Instagram stories a few times, but obviously not everyone sees all my stories all the time. But there's lots of yummy things that you can feed your bird for a nice, diverse diet. Yeah, Gina, I really enjoy taking pictures of the flock chop too. I try and make it look nice and pretty. Obviously, when we feed our birds chop, it does not look as presentable as what I put on Instagram and stuff like that. But I feel like if I present it in a aesthetic way, if you like, then it's more appealing to some people and maybe inspires them to want to try and make chop for their birds instead of maybe some of the other chops I've made that look pretty disgusting. But yeah, if I present it in a nice way, that's kind of why I do it, to hopefully inspire people to want to try some of these new ingredients, diversify their bird's diet, and get involved that way as well. We should work on a cookbook for parrots, Klaus. That's a really nice idea, but Carmen Budai, who's a friend of the channel and has Polly's Natural Parrot Boutique, she has 3 amazing parrot cookbooks, and I don't want to tread on anyone's toes with any things that we ever want to bring out. So a cookbook standalone is not something we'd bring out. Would we ever bring out a parrot book altogether? Perhaps. We'll see. You know, you never know. It's very hard to get a publisher. So, I mean, David's got books. Where are you? You're there. On Amazon, if you want to go and check them out. Nothing to do with birds, to do with sort of mythology and stuff like that, which is obviously amazing. But it is very, very hard to get a publisher, and we would love to make a parrot book. So if you know any publishers, you know, link us up, because it'll be lots of fun. But for the time being, you know, as per usual, we just love creating free content here on YouTube, so it's accessible to everyone. Obviously, we have our consults with Best Behaved Birds. We've been so busy with Best Behaved Birds recently, which I'm really, really grateful for. You know, we love our little business. We love helping people. So we're really grateful that we have business and that we can help as many people around the world as possible. So yeah, that's been awesome as well. Let's have a look here. Scampy want his pickles. Pop Pickles back, and then we'll just have the noisy cockatiels, I think. David's just going to be wrangling the birds for this entire live stream, I think, because they're just so cheeky. This is why sometimes it takes absolutely ages to film videos, because they just want to be noisy. And, you know, I've had some sassy comments in the past, like, oh, you know, this video is pointless because I can't hear anything because your birds are screaming. And it's like, well, that's reality. birds are noisy, and I can't, gag my birds while I'm filming, so they're going to make noise, and I apologise if it winds your birds up, but I can't stop my birds from making noise because that's what they do. However, I'm going to see if Chippenfish wants to come over to the screen and say hello. Beanie Baby 707 is here, one of my other patrons. Hello, Fish. Hello, thanks for joining us. Who also has 3 cockatiels. Okay, never mind. It was a nice idea, but they're going to go and chew the curtain rail instead. So, it's chaos. Whose idea was this to do a live stream? Oh, wow, there's so many comments. I'm really behind on this.
You've got a lot to talk about.
Oh, my God. Sorry, guys. I'm getting there. I've just been, yammering on for ages. You guys are chatting in the comments. Oh, my goodness. I'm so behind. David, I think you're going to have to help me.
What, to answer the question?
Hang on. I'm almost here. I'm almost caught up, guys. Just talk amongst yourselves. No, in fact, don't. Too much chat. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate you being part of the live stream. It means a lot to me for you guys to be here.
Who are you squeaking at?
I'm so sorry for all this noise. Hi, everyone. Oh, there's so many of you here. Hi, guys. Hi, Anne. Hi, KVM. Vanda's here. Julia's here. Parrots on Wheels. Bear J. Blue Blood Rop. So many of you. Garfield's here. Hi, guys. What is the quietest bird species? Are we talking about parrots? If we're talking about parrots, then maybe, there's no real quiet species, is there? Budgies are quieter. I did a video on apartment-friendly birds of quiet birds, but as you can tell, cockatiels are on the list, and clearly mine are not quiet. Neither are the conures. Generally, the smaller the bird, the quieter they are, but you're never going to have a quiet bird. They're always going to have the opportunity to make noise. So if you're looking for a quiet bird because you don't want to have neighbours upset, then just be careful with that. But yeah, some of the smaller birds, generally speaking, they can still damage your hearing. I've got tinnitus after working with birds for 13 years, although I have worked with big birds, so that's probably why. But it's the smaller the bird, the more likely they are to be quiet, theoretically. Now Kipling's going to scream, of course. Also, if I miss your question because I'm scrolling, apologies. Do drop it again. David's going to help me keep up because I'm really behind.
Do you want us to do it in text or on the screen?
You can come and join me in a second if
Yeah.
anyone wants to be quiet. I think Chippenfish may need to go home.
Well, they can just stay with me.
We'll get David set up over here. Let's move around. You can bring your chair over. We'll see.
Just pop them next to me on the stand and they can just have their own time.
This live stream is a lot more chaotic than David's one.
I don't know if that's a compliment or just bad luck.
I think it's probably bad luck with them being noisy. They're so well behaved to your one. Is your channel okay, Cocky and the Dragons? Yes, of course. Just make content that you want to make. Don't make it for other people. Make content that you like, that you would want to watch. That's what I started doing when I started my channel. It's all about making content you would want to watch. I noticed that I'm going to scroll down because some people have been exceptionally generous and I was not expecting that at all. But Gina, you're very naughty. Thank you very much for your very generous donation. I don't expect anyone to send me anything at all. That's not why I do this live stream. I just wanted to have a chance to chat to you guys. So it's really, really generous of you to send that to me. We just love Gina. She's so lovely and kind and everything like that. So thank you for being here. And Beanie Baby 707. I don't want to say anyone's names in case anyone doesn't like that. But again, another one of my patrons. Very generous of you. Thank you very, very much. I am stressed about the birds because I get so many rude comments about how noisy they are during my videos, and I can't help it. They're just doing what they do. I suppose if you're someone who watches my channel and you're like, oh, what living with birds like? It's like this.
To be fair though, I mean, it's probably just overexcited at the moment.
Yeah.
They're just really excited. Stuff's going on. They're like, wow.
That's the thing. Like when we have the main light on and we're talking, you know, they just want to be involved. So that's just, you know, that's the way it is. Question: would you approach training budgies the same way you do larger birds? Yes and no. With larger birds, you have to be a bit more cautious about the safety kind of things, because, you know, a macaw could potentially bite your finger off in a couple of chomps. So you have to be more cautious in that way. But treat any bird as an individual. The principles are all still the same. But you know, it's, you know, target training, positive reinforcement training, all that kind of stuff is all very similar. It doesn't really matter on the size of the bird.
Do you want me to sit back there? Do you want to I'll just sit back there because he'll be happier that way. He's involved that way. Yeah. And then you can just move in. You can just see me in the background.
I would love to have Louis and Kipling out. The problem is that the laptop that we're doing the live stream on currently is very, it's new.
Yeah, basically.
And Kipling really likes to pull up keys. And I'm not prepared on this laptop for him to do it. He can do it on my old laptop, but not this one. So otherwise, it's just going to be really noisy for this entire live stream. And it's the first one, guys. So it's always going to go bad. Maybe I'll do it in another room next time. But yes, training budgies in the same way as larger birds. Technically, yes, all the principles are the same. But there are more kind of safety measures for larger birds. And with budgies, they're generally more flighty. So you need to be in a place where they can be safe and, you know, not fly into any things. And then Beanie Baby 707 says the budgies don't seem interested in any training. They only want the treats. Yes, you need to have a high treat motivation for training, but sometimes the best thing to do is to break things down into really, really teeny tiny approximations. Even target training can be broken down into tiny steps. So say, for example, you've got your target stick. I've got one here, actually. And I've got birds flying around like crazy. Say, for example, you've got your target stick and you just want your bird to touch it, as you would anyway. But your bird is nervous of the target stick. Then you can have your target stick here and your bird here, and you can reinforce. You can reinforce for your bird just looking at the target stick, maybe taking a step towards the target stick, taking one more step towards the target stick, and do it in that way. So having tiny little baby steps can be better in that way for something as simple as target training, because again, it seems like a simple behaviour, but for a lot of birds, that in itself is really tricky. So just break everything down into small steps. Sometimes training before breakfast is also more important because they're more likely to be motivated to participate. If they had some millet.
The boys, yeah. They're just really excitable.
They're really excited.
They've seen me today, talking out.
It's possible.
Probably what they quiet down when they sat with me.
So much fun, but yeah, thank you guys for that. It's very sweet of you. Oh gosh, I can't keep up with the chat. And then Anne comes in. Thank you so much, Anne. It's very, very sweet of you to join the chaos. Do you want to give them another straw?
Yeah, they've not had one.
They've had them. They may have dropped them. Thank you very, very much for that generosity, Anne. It's very, very sweet of you. What do we think of the cage of the new guys? It looks really nice and big. What's the brand? So this one here, it's all like backwards. This here is from eBay. Again, if you want the link to it, I can send you the link for anyone who's interested. Do just drop me a DM. I think it's just called Large Parrot Rodent Cage or something like that, and you'll just see it's really big. I love this cage. I think it's great. It does come with ramps and stuff, which it doesn't have in there now. But yeah, it's an awesome space. The only thing that I'd probably change is having it a little bit kind of wider, so there's a little bit more space on the base, but there is plenty of space for them to roam around on the base and have fun. It's an amazing cage. There's loads of space. You know, there's space for 3 birds in there. So if Olive ever decides that she wants to be friends with Louis and Kipling, then they could all live in there together. But, you know, we're still very much in that process of just bonding with them ourselves. So we're in no rush to bond her up with anybody else. And I will get to everyone in the chat. It's just when people send over some very generous things, I pinpoint those first. But yeah, the birds are just kicking off because they know that it's my first live stream and Don't embarrass me. They're not normally this bad. So let me try and get back on track with it. But yeah, again, thank you so much, guys, for sending bits and pieces over. I really don't expect that at all, but it's very, very generous of you. Okay, where are we? Oh, I'm so behind, guys. I'm absolutely disgraceful. I have a pretty hat. Pickles are sitting on my head. Yes, she is a very pretty hat. What do you do when your bird screams a lot? Bang your head against the wall. The best thing to do is ignore it. The only reason why we are technically kind of trying to keep them quiet is because of the live stream. And I know it's probably annoying for you guys to listen to them scream. But normally we just ignore it and then pinpoint moments when they are quiet and then reinforce that way. But we never want to intentionally reinforce screaming because then it just happens even more. But yeah, during filming or when the main light's on, they just get really excited and make loads of noise. Hi, Rachel. If your bird has a issue with their leg ring, I recommend taking it to the vet to get it cut off. That's what we did with baby Olive because hers slid up her leg. I don't recommend trying to get it off yourself unless there is an extreme danger to them because if you do it wrong, it's possible you may injure their leg. So it's better to just go to the vet, get it cut off that way. Depends on the material as well because some leg rings are really tough metal like Olive's was, and she had to get it cut off under anaesthetic with a Dremel, whereas some other ones can be cut off by scissors, but you don't really want to be doing that yourself because if you try and cut it and then you can't and then you maybe splinter it a bit, it's going to be sharp on the leg. So it's always better just to go to your vet and get it cut off where possible. Garfield, me and my friend are planning on starting a bird sanctuary. Would you recommend anything for us? It depends how you're going to go down it. If you're going to be an actual sort of charity for that kind of thing, if you are, you need to make sure you get the relevant kind of, not permits, but you know what I mean, like the relevant documents and that kind of thing. If you're doing it privately, then go for it. Make sure you've got the finances to support yourself because it's not cheap. It's not cheap having, pet parrots, let alone an actual kind of sanctuary set up. But that's an incredible goal. We would love to have a sanctuary type setup. Do you want to come and try and join us now? See if the birds are going to be quiet. They're probably going to get revved up again. Do you want to scoot in here? A sanctuary type setup is a really admirable goal, and as I said, we would love to have something like that, wouldn't we? Yeah, we would love to do that. If we had the money, the space, the land, we would just love to have a sanctuary or just a rescue for those birds that people just like abandon. Take them on. Exactly, but finances is something to really consider. It's a lovely goal, but make sure that you can afford it because it's going to cost a lot of money. And if you are rescuing birds who maybe have come from not the best start in life, they made extra vet care, which is really expensive. So that's probably my best advice is the financial side of things is most important rather than anything else. You want out as well, wouldn't you? You could get her up if you like. I don't know. She's going to kick off probably. She's cute. In the colder months, who's this? Kurai. In the colder months, my cockatiels get crazy about their food and are always hungry. Should I adjust their food according to the season? So I find that quite often in this time of year, it's hormone season, which is probably why chip and fish are being extra cheeky. Baby Olive's coming. Baby Olive has entered the chat. Should you increase their food? Not necessarily, but I recommend keeping the home warm enough. I do have a video on, how to keep your bird warm in the winter. They don't generally need more food. It's more about keeping the environment at a decent temperature. I'm not very good with Fahrenheit, but in terms of Celsius, it's better to have about 18 degrees Celsius minimum. That's what we set our thermostat at. And then in the day, we will increase it a little bit. You don't want huge fluctuations in temperature because then that can make your bird a bit uncomfortable and quite stressed. But 18 degrees Celsius, if anyone knows what that is in Fahrenheit, drop it in the chat. But they shouldn't need extra food. It's always good to weigh your bird regularly. Is she not coming out? Are you using sunflower seed? Yeah, she's so cheeky. Okay, well, she could. What's my sleeve? Would you want that instead? Yeah, you love that. She's constantly coloured because this jumper is the same colour as Olive. Even when she's scared, Oh, the tassels as well. She doesn't like your tassels.
That's probably why, actually.
And if you're wondering what Olive prefers on the sleeve, she just feels more comfortable that way based on her past experience. So
she's quite happy stepping onto the hand, as you probably saw in the background, but
exactly that.
Scared.
So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily adjust their food, but I would weigh your birds regularly to make sure that they're keeping a good weight, and also making sure their diet is tip top with lots of great nutrition. So when they are eating lots, it's with raw whole foods and that kind of thing. Okay. Am I caught up? No, I'm halfway.
It's quite a way.
Kipling is an absolute monster. Olive's off.
I think it's a bit scary out at the moment for all this going on. So I might not.
Oh gosh, it's absolute chaos.
You won't understand, baby, you can do that. Otherwise, I'm probably back in. So I don't get scared.
What's wrong with alfalfa? There's some people who say that there's issues with feeding a high alfalfa diet, but again, I don't recommend pellets as a huge part of the diet anyway. Just like if you fed any other pellet that's corn, wheat, or soy based, most parrots are not grainivores, so they shouldn't have a mostly grain based diet. But yeah, a lot of people just have a bee in their bonnet about alfalfa specifically. And of course, Kipling's going to kick off again. Of course. Who's the cockatiel? That was Chip and Fish. Their brief little entrance into the chaos. So Shannon's talking about her bird being hormonal. Yeah, it's that time of year. It's hormones, which again is probably why they're misbehaving. I do have a video all about hormonal behaviour. So definitely go and check that out after the live stream. It's mostly about keeping good levels of sleep, increased activity. I think he's so noisy.
It's a shame I can't be on like another camera or something.
I know.
Come here.
Such fun. Anyway, yes, go and check out my hormones video. If it doesn't answer your questions, then drop me a DM. But normally it has kind of the basis of what you want with managing hormones, which is increasing activity, more sleep, and making sure the diet is not overabundant and also not super nutrient dense with loads of proteins and fats and that kind of thing. Look at him, he's so naughty. He's like butter wouldn't melt.
Demanding my attention. Yeah, it's probably next time I should not go out before live stream.
Kipling does want to be out, but he's not going to be out because he's chaotic enough as it is in the cage.
Do I have to sit back there?
I think.
Do I have to sit here?
Yeah.
Do I have to sit here?
I think so.
That's my position in the room. This is where I have to be.
As you can tell, we're very patient people when it comes to birds.
5 rescue conures, it's not an easy job, to be perfectly honest, with one of them being a crimson belly. It's full-time.
We'll talk about crimson bellies later once we've caught up with the chat, but woohoo, they are something else. Hi, ZB.
Why are you so nervous? You're normally quite confident on camera. Olive hasn't encountered this natural fever, so she's probably a bit hesitant with it.
Is there any way you can remove the leg band at home?
Probably not safely. If it's metal, definitely not. It's not safe. If it's plastic and the leg is injured, probably not. It's better to do it at a vet, avian vet.
Yeah, humidity as well is really important for birds, something that's overlooked. We live in an exceptionally humid country in the UK, so we don't really need extra humidity here, but in other places in the world, if it's a lot drier, then you will need extra humidity to keep your birds nice and happy and healthy. Normally between 50 to 70% is better.
I know what's happening. It's because I've come home, they think it's usual routine where I play with them and we watch TV and stuff. So.
Rachel, without seeing the specifics of your situation, I couldn't really say, but do speak to a vet and see if you can get it cut off that way, because it's better to be safe that way to kind of get things sorted. Is beechwood at the bottom of the cage okay? Yeah. If it's dust free, then absolutely, it's perfectly safe to use as a substrate base. We love a substrate base. Easy Chick actually asked me to mention that they have a YouTube channel now. It's just called Easy Products. So EASI Products. I may be making content for them. You never know. So if you fancy going and subscribing, I'm sure they'll be very appreciative. But yeah, any substrate base, definitely dust free, but beechwood would be absolutely fine. Irenial? Oh gosh, I'm going to be so bad with these pronunciations. Do you want to have a go?
No. I'll answer Anne's question later on.
Yeah.
Irenial? Irinel? Give me an adult.
Please let me know.
Hello, basically.
I apologise for the absolutely shocking pronunciation. Good to see you all here taking part in the chaos.
Well, Beanie Baby, if you like fantasy and fiction, one of my books is actually worth buying. Most of them aren't, to be honest, but one of them is worth it. It's called Anna. It's well worth buying. The rest of them aren't so good. That one almost won a prize. So
almost. It's very, very good. I enjoyed it.
And just this basic question I wanted to answer. Yes, they do free publishing. You can publish your stuff on there for free, but there is a little bit more involved in there. So you have to do a lot of groundwork to get behind it. There's a lot of stuff going on, basically. So yeah, you can also do paid services on there as well.
Yeah. If anyone's interested, this is what we call the Conyo chorus.
So normally, just because I feel it's really unfair on Sophie, what normally happens during the day, because obviously I work from home all the time, where Sophie goes out to the zoo, is they have their outings in the morning, the long outings, we do all their stuff there, whether Sophie's out or not. Then we have like a lunch break, then they come out again, then they go in, sort of not dissimilar to this sort of time, a bit earlier than this time maybe, and then they have some cage time, and normally I will just take a bit of time for myself between work to play games and stuff, or put music on. And this is what they'll be like. They basically conjure love chatting. They'll all sleep and chat to each other. And this is basically what's happening. So I think it's just quite bad timing, sadly, for Sophie.
You shouldn't have gone out to play games.
Yeah, I went out to play games. I thought I'd be back in time, no problems. And then what do we have? We have the usual, just delayed.
So
apologies.
Because the birds are noisy, let's blame David.
Yeah, blame me.
Yes, Rachel, you can contact me personally. Just drop me, if you've got Instagram, my handle is BirdNerdSophie. Or you can drop me an email if you go on my channel page. There's an email address on there. If you want a book from us, let me know. Maybe I'll put. If you would like a book all about screaming parrots.
To be fair though, this shows how happy they are. They wouldn't chat like this if they weren't happy. They're happy that we're both here, the lights are on, loads of fun things are going on, it's active. I really like hearing the sound, especially not when Sophie's talking, but it's nice to hear. Exactly.
If you guys are interested in us writing a book, let me know. Because if you're interested, maybe it will happen. If no one's interested, then we just keep doing what we're doing. But if you are interested in a book, kind of like all about parrots, lots of different parts of their, husbandry and things, let me know and we'll see what we can do, because it's something that we'd absolutely love to do. What veggies should I get for my crimson belly? He's still a baby and sort of picky. Just try and change it up regularly. Favourites here are peas, sweet corn, bell peppers, chilies, carrots, anything with quite a sweet flavour. You don't want it to be super high sugar, but in the initial process of getting a bird interested in foods, definitely go for those more tastier ones: carrots, bell peppers, chilies, peas, sweet corn, anything like that. Sometimes more sort of leafy veg is less desirable at the start, and also things like fresh herbs. So mint and rosemary are a huge hit here with our birds, so that's a good diet conversion tool as well. I'm glad that someone, Gina, enjoys listening to their noises. Where are we? Spinach and lettuce, yeah, you can absolutely offer birds spinach and lettuce, but not all birds will go for it at the start. Although if you thread it through the bars, a lot of birds will enjoy kind of shredding and seeing it as more of a toy, and then you can kind of move it into more of like a food stuff. But yeah, threading through the bars is amazing. Everyone likes fish and chip. Yeah, fish and chip are amazing. They're our special little boys. They're our first birds that we got together as babies. We just adore them, but of course they're going to be mischievous on the live stream. Klaus, I hope I'm saying that right. Please let me know. You're very, very sweet. You absolutely did not need to do that. It's very, very generous of you, and I really appreciate you being here on the live stream today. So thank you very much. I'm really glad that you find our content helpful, because we just love to help people. I said when I first started my channel, as long as I can help one person, then I'll be fulfilled. And the fact that there's so many of you, there's currently 27 of you here, which is just amazing. And I'm really, really thrilled that we're all part of this community of respectful bird parents, and we all just want the best for our birds, and I just absolutely love that. Right, where are we? I'm catching up slowly. If the birds weren't being so cheeky, then it wouldn't be so bad. But here we are.
Take the tree.
Parrots and Wheels Kickstarter for the book. Maybe we'll see. We'd absolutely love to do it. So yeah, as I said, just let us know if you guys would be interested in a all-round general kind of parrot book. It would be so cool. Should eclectus parrots eat fruit in captivity, or is it too much sugar? For Monica. Actually, an eclectus parrot's diet is more frugivorous, so more fruit based, because they have a long hind gut, so they don't do very well on things like pellets. They actually do very badly on pellets, but they are a more frugivorous bird, so they can absolutely have fruits. But there are fruits that are lower in sugar. Things like raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, those are very low sugar fruits. So they would be absolutely fine for eclectus, as well as a nice varied diet anyway.
What are you doing? What do you think you want?
What could be the trigger for my cockatiel becoming a dragon in the split second? So hormones often, sometimes it's dietary based if there's excess energy. Sometimes birds don't always know how to tell us that they don't like something, so they snap. And if we aren't always reading their body language, not saying that you're doing this, but if we don't always read their body language in a certain way, then sometimes they just end up snapping. With baby Olive, when we rescued her, her body language was not respected at all, and she would just snap immediately without giving us any warning. But now we've had her for quite some time, and she is understanding of us, and we are understanding of her. She gives us warnings now if she doesn't like something, which is really good, because that's what we want for our birds. We want them to be able to tell us, hey, I'm not okay with that. And then if we don't respect that, then that's when they'll take it to the next level. But sometimes hormones play a part in that, sometimes diet, sometimes their mood, if they're tired. So there's lots of different things really, but it's up to you to kind of know your bird more individually to see. I was hoping that David would really kind of take part in this, but he's having to just orchestrate the birds.
Just do some training with them.
I'm just catching up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the birds are just so excited to be part of the live stream, clearly, which is why they're being so noisy. So if you made it this far, thank you. It's tricky with the chaos, but it's all part of the fun. And, you know, living with parrots of any shape and size is always a challenge. Klaus, yeah, bird owners are used to chaos. Oh, yeah. Baby Louie is just showing up. Sherry's little gang is here. Hi, Sherry. Joe's here. They are birds, yeah. They are going to be cheeky, especially when I'm, doing a live stream. Do green cheek conures have allergies? Not exactly. They can be sensitive to certain things. If they are showing signs of eye irritation, it's worth having a look in the environment, seeing if there's anything that could be causing it. They don't typically suffer from allergies in the way that we do. Maybe worth a vet checkup just to be on the safe side. But yeah, they don't have allergies like seasonal allergies like to hay fever and pollen, that kind of thing that we as humans can get. So I'd probably just get a checkup just to be on the safe side. Budgies feel like they're ADHD crazy. I think all birds are a little bit bonkers, really, you know, just absolutely on the go all the time. So yeah, sometimes it's nice when they go to bed, we can have 5 minutes of peace. Very high treat motivation for your budgies, Beanie Baby. I'm catching up now.
Good.
Yeah, King's Deathbird. Yeah, we're trying to show the realities. I may do a new video. I did a video like when I first started my channel about the realities of living with birds, and this is it. They do like to be noisy. You know, they're not going to be silent just because I want to do a live stream. They're not going to sit quietly just because I want to take a picture. You know, they are going to be on the go all the time, and this is what it's like. And you know, if, for example, you are a prospective bird owner and you can't handle this kind of chaos, maybe parrots aren't the right pet for you, because this isn't a one-off. They can be noisy like this because, again, they're not silent. They do make noise throughout the day. It's one of their main ways of communication. And I appreciate using headphones because I know some people don't like it when I've got the birds being noisy and it's upsetting their birds. So headphones are always a good thing. You can block out your bird's noise, you can block out my bird's noise, all that kind of stuff. Interesting. And Angie's budgies are going nuts in response, but the cockatiels are like, whatever. Yeah, Joe, sometimes birds really can get a little bit salty, as you say, when you have to catch them up to go to the vet. Trying to travel carrier voluntarily is always a good thing. Doing target training to get your birds in the travel carrier so it's not such a stressful experience. I may do a video on kind of preparing for vet visits, that kind of thing. So if that's the sort of thing you'd like, then let me know in the comments. It might help some people if it's better to prepare for a vet visit before you need to. What does it mean when your bird stares at you a lot? They may be. I can't get my attention. No, I know. It may be that your bird's just curious about what you're doing when they stare at you. They're just looking. They have pretty good eyesight. They can see in UV and that kind of thing. So they may just be interested in what you're doing. They don't really kind of stare you down as like an intimidation thing. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Shannon, you're very sweet. There are some people, I don't know, maybe I'm just sometimes a bit sensitive to some people because I've just had a few comments recently of people being agitated by bird noise in the background, and I can't help it. They're birds. This is life. Joy's here, another one of my patrons. Hi, Joy. Thanks for joining us. It's lovely to have you here. Sherry says, how is our little one with 1 foot doing? That's baby Louis. He's one of the noisiest ones that you can hear in the background. He's doing amazing. He's very, very cheeky. He's a bundle of fun. He knows, because he has additional needs, having a disability, having 1 foot, that he knows he can get away with anything. So he's super cheeky. But yeah, he's doing great. He's learning and he's getting used to us starting to try and pet him and that kind of thing, which is amazing because he's a bit more nervous than the other birds, and that's okay. But yeah, he's such a little superstar and we just adore him. Yeah. So Joyce says, my son Stephen is wondering how to encourage his bird to play more on her play stands. She tends to get into things on his desk, etc. So quite often it's just about making that play stand really fun, putting a lot of reinforcement into it, a lot of opportunities for entertainment, because if there's like things to do like foraging toys or foot toys or whatever it may be that your bird enjoys, that's what they're going to be engaging in. Whereas if it's a play stand where it's mostly just perches, they may not be as engaged. But if it has lots of interesting things that they can be busy with, then they will be more likely to want to stay on there. But of course, as humans, we're probably more interesting sometimes. So sometimes it's about kind of engaging with them on the play stand and then slowly taking your attention away so they get used to that, because not every bird can kind of cope with being on a play stand right away. Curly Curl Birdie Girl, hi, welcome. Foraging trays, size, content and hygiene. So it's good to clean your foraging trays regularly. There's no real set amount of time. It's all about how often they're used. So demanding today. He's really demanding. Right, you're not paying attention now. You have to wait. Yeah, just keeping them regularly, at least once a week, I'd say, giving your foraging tray a good clean. But if you're using more fresh foods in there, you may need to clean it more regularly. Size, again, whatever you like, really. You can have a large foraging tray, you can have a small foraging tray, you can have multiple mini foraging trays, if you can hear me. Content, whatever your bird likes, as long as it's bird safe. So a nice substrate in there. You can have shredded paper. You can have foot toys, all the different kinds of things that your bird would like. You can even put some of their normal diet in there. So dry mix or treats. Very high value stuff to make it really interesting. So the sky is the limit when it comes to foraging trays. Maybe I'll do a video on like different foraging tray setups. Again, if you'd like that kind of video, then let me know. That might be an idea of something to do. And yeah, the bird's just gonna keep kicking off. So I know I keep apologizing, it's just my nature. But I know you guys don't mind, and if you do, then sorry. Where are we? Hi, Sammy. Thanks for coming. Weird question. Do you notice your green cheek conures having a musty, strong smell even after a bath? Every conure has their own scent. All of ours smell completely different, so that's not unusual. It would only be if the smell makes you physically gag that I would be concerned. For example, when we rescued baby Olive, she smelled absolutely horrific. She smelled like cheesy feet because the person who had her previously liked to stroke her all over her body without consent. So they had like hand oils all over her feathers. She reeked. Honestly, it made me gag, bless her. But after molting and having lots of baths and things like that, she doesn't smell anymore other than having her natural scent. But she smells totally different to all of the other conures. So it's not unusual. When Scampy has a wash, she smells like wet dog. So yeah, it's not unusual at all. Yeah, Joy, sometimes birds can just take a really long time to move on to a fresh diet, and that's okay. There's no rush. It's not a race. Some people online will say, oh, wow, it's so easy, but it's not. Some birds are just more stubborn, and sometimes it is a case of humans needing to be more strong-willed and just trying different techniques. There's going to be something that will work eventually. So just keep at it, keep trying different things, freeze-dried foods, that kind of thing, chopped really small, chopped big, shoved through the bars, in a bird bread. There's lots of different ways that you can get a bird interested in vegetables. All of our birds came to us on seed diets, bar Kipling and Louis, who came on a great diet. Now all of them just love their fresh food. They would choose that over seeds in the morning, which is amazing. So just keep at it, you'll be fine. Oh, goodness. Julia from Italy, I really hope I said that right. I would like to start to let my lovebirds out of the cage, but they try and peck me when I put my hand in the cage. I'm scared to let them free roam. I would recommend doing target training through the bars to start off with, so that your birds can go into the cage voluntarily and come out and that kind of thing. If your birds are not used to coming on your hands, then it's going to be a struggle to get them back in. So start with target training through the bars with some high value treats, and then you'll have a way of getting your birds back in the cage after that. I'm going to be here for another 10 minutes, I think. So feel free to keep popping your questions in the chat. I am getting to the end of the chat. There's just so many questions and so many of you lovely people here. So yeah. Parrots and Wheels says it doesn't sound as loud to us watching. That's good to know, because it's very loud here. I can't gather my thoughts. Is newspaper substrate okay? Technically speaking, yes, although in some countries the ink on the newspaper isn't safe, so you need to check in your country whether it is a non-toxic ink. But the problem is, if it gets wet and then your bird goes down there, they're going to get covered in newspaper print. So it'd be better to have plain paper than one with ink on it. Are Easy Chicks selling in the US? Not at the moment, but I highly recommend, if you're interested in Easy Chick, please drop them an email, because the more people who email them to say that they're interested in it, the more likely they're going to bring it to the US. I do tell them all the time. I get messages weekly about Easy Chick, but if you tell them directly, then they will see that there's a demand for it, and hopefully they'll be able to bring it over there, because I know so many of you guys would love to have it, and I talk about it all the time. So do let them know that you are interested in it. What have you got for your birds for Christmas? We haven't really sorted that out yet, but Kipling, where is it? I've got it here somewhere. We bought Kipling this, a red mouse, because he loves David's red mouse, and he keeps throwing it on the floor and is trying to break it. So we got Kipling his own mouse. Pickles likes it as well. But we haven't really got any plans. I'm always doing orders from Northern Parrots, so they're kind of spoiled all year round, so they don't need special gifts. Conures are a lot of fun, but they are absolutely bonkers. And yes, the birds are absolutely happy and loved. We do adore them, even when they are naughty and noisy. Live stream. I'm glad you guys are interested in the idea of a book. Again, we're thinking about it. We'll maybe get there. Again, if enough people are interested, then we'll definitely explore the idea of it. Maybe I'll put it on like stories or a community post on YouTube or something. I'm losing my voice now because I'm talking so much. I forgot to bring my drink in. But again, I'll be here for like another 5 minutes. So I think David's going to get it. He's a good egg. We like David. Thank you. Maybe you can take part for the last
5 minutes. What's much to say, really? More training videos someone's asking for.
Yeah, if you'd
My
like.
next live stream will have some training in it. I'll do some target training best practice to start with, and then sort of see what questions people ask and stuff, because a lot of us do target training, a lot of us don't, and it's really helpful. And just doing it in the right way can set you up for so much more success than doing it the wrong way. And that's not to gazump what you were saying, sorry.
No. I've lost my train of thought now. But yeah, definitely check into David's live stream if you're up for more screaming. If you love screaming, then this is this is the place to be.
You may not get any screaming for mine.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's just the way it is. We'll get to you guys. I know some of you guys have dropped off before I got to your chat, but thank you so much for being part of this live stream, and really appreciate you being here.
Warrior pose.
Warrior pose.
It's just a lesson more Voltron. The green cheek likes to stand on one foot and stretch. That's kind of normal conure behaviour. They like to stretch their wings. They sometimes do it before they're going to fly. Some birds do it before they're going to go to a loo, or they mostly scoot. But yeah, it's just normal sort of behaviour for them. Yeah,
we call it like stretchy wingy, but sometimes it's like preparing for action as well. They like to stretch their wings before they kind of want to get up to business. Are there any substitutes for F10 disinfectant? It's hard to get here. You can just use a mix of 50-50 white vinegar and water. That's going to be absolutely fine. The smell of the vinegar won't linger. I prefer to use F10 because it's very comprehensive, and I know that it kills things like COVID and bird flu and that kind of thing, but vinegar mixed with water, 50-50 concentration, is totally fine as well. I appreciate those of you sticking out to the end, the end of the chaos. Wait until you have kids. I have no idea if we're going to have kids. They're certainly not coming out of my body. So if we do have kids, we'll probably adopt. Isn't that right?
We're going to need like triple the space, though.
Yeah, we need a lot more space. Maybe we'll eventually have our parrot rescue and a little farm and all that kind of stuff. Maybe.
If we're lucky. If we keep working. If you guys keep suggesting us to other people and telling people about us, that will hopefully help. So do remember, encourage people to watch our stuff, subscribe, and all the usual rubbish, because we can't be bothered to put those little widgets on our videos because we think it's a little bit pointless. But you guys talking about us helps us, and in a positive light. So we hope we help you, and hope you can help us by just sharing the word. Yeah, exactly. And if we make this parrot book, you can always buy the parrot book. Hi, Julio. Thanks for coming. I have a bird that likes to fly around the house, but the other doesn't. Goes crazy when he's not around her. So you can just do flight exercises. I have a video on recall and stationing, so you can encourage your bird to build up those flight muscles, and it may increase confidence as well to wanting to fly around. So like with Pickles and Scampy loves to fly around like absolutely crazy. Pickles is a little bit more lazy, so sometimes she has to really work if she wants to go somewhere. Foraging setup videos, yes. Okay, I need to watch your video back to remember the video suggestions I came up with. Where are we? Training videos, more training videos.
If you'd like more training videos, let me know what kind of training videos you'd like, because a lot of people say that they don't actually do as well on my channel when I make training videos. I'd like to make them, but no one seems to watch.
That's the funny thing. Like, everyone goes crazy. It's like for the trick training, like with Chip and the machines and stuff. And all that choice, people go crazy for it on social media, but they say, yeah, teach us how to do it. But when I put a video about how to showing people how to do it, they're like, I maybe watch it, maybe not. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I think we need to get Pickles like an Xbox controller, because she loves to destroy David's one. So I think maybe that'll be her gift.
He likes it when I'm playing it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll just have like a parrot toy line of like wooden Xbox
controllers. Someone's going to nick that now. Someone's watching this and be like, right.
Probably. I mean, story of our lives, really, isn't it?
Two birds at the same time. Wings trick.
Where's that?
Just above two birds.
Do you want to answer it?
What, the two birds at the same time thing, two people helps, or just doing targeting, one in each hand, so they have their own dedicated perch. Sophie had a really good suggestion about using certain colours, which they've used in the zoo world. So you station onto a coloured perch and just basically treat them. And you can also, with targeting as well, you can have your like sticks there and your treats pinched there, so you can just do a little motion depending on how dexterous you are.
Yay, adoption. We'll adopt all of you. You can all be our honorary children in the bird community. Yeah, you have a Quaker bird who's very attached to you, can't stay by himself. This is all about teaching independence, teaching independent play, teaching your bird how to interact with toys, having high value toys and a base diet that's really healthy can help them to be more independent. There's lots of different things you can do. And again, increasing training, introduce them to new objects. I have a video on neophobia, which will probably help you because a lot of birds who are very attached to people can sometimes be nervous of new things. So that could be a video to watch. Do all birds speak the same language? Like, can cockatiels and conures understand each other? I don't think there's ever been a study on that. I think to an extent, yes. But obviously they all come from different places. They're not exactly the same, but I think that generally speaking, they can understand body language. Whether they can understand the physical language of another bird is another question. I'd love to know if that's possible or not. But I know, like, interspecies, obviously they can understand other cockatiels with cockatiels and that kind of thing. And the wings trick, yes, we can do a training tutorial on the wings trick. Only Pickles is very good at it at the moment. So we're still training with other birds because it's a trickier one to train. There's multiple ways of doing it, some less ethical than others. So yeah. How do you get your birds used to a new room? Lots of descents. If you're putting your birds in a new room, I would recommend doing it slowly. If you're putting a cage in a new room, I would recommend just getting them used to being in the room for a short while before you let them out. If you're kind of walking around the house and getting them used to a new room, just kind of stand at the doorway, that kind of thing, and wait there and then get them used to it. Obviously positively reinforcing, it's been a long live stream, for any behaviour you want to see more of. If they're nervous, wait for calm, then move them further away from the room, that kind of thing. Do we still have the mealworms? Mealworms don't last forever. We don't have the original batch of mealworms. They don't. They turn into beetles. So we don't currently have the mealworms, but we are planning on getting some more mealworms because Louis and Kipling haven't had any. So we would like to introduce them to mealworms and get them back. And we need to wrap this up super.
Sophie doesn't actually like Pokemon games that much. She likes to watch them occasionally. I haven't had a chance to buy it yet. I'm waiting for a decent price on the sale. Try to stretch things to get as much as I can. There's a couple of other games I want to buy as well.
Yeah, I like Pokemon. I just don't. I'm not as keen on the actual games themselves. I like other types of games. Safe substrate in the US. You can have untreated and unscented, dust-free pine shavings for small animals. Any of that is absolutely fine.
Chipperfish 4. And one other thing, teaching wings by dropping the bird. I agree, Shannon. I wouldn't like that way. It sounds like a really weird way of doing it. Why would you do it that way?
That's not the way I find that quite unethical, and I have seen a lot of YouTube videos of people doing it in that way.
Substrate, I think.
So the substrate, untreated and unscented dust-free pine shavings. If you can't get access to something like Easy Chick, is totally safe. You can use like plain shredded white paper, but it's probably more expensive that way. But yeah, something like that would be totally fine. Somehow I've managed to catch up on the chat just as we are going to wrap it up. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, guys. Again, I'm going to apologize again. It's what I do. I apologize for the excessive noise in this live stream. Let's blame David. His was a lot more chilled and less noisy. So next time David's not allowed out of the house when it's my live stream day. But I hope you enjoyed, from what you can hear, the live stream of doing a Q&A. Let me know what you would like from the next live stream other than silence. If you'd like another Q&A, if you'd like something more practical, we'll see what we can do. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, guys. I didn't really expect anyone to turn up, so I really appreciate all of you chatting and being here, especially my patrons being here as well, and those of you who are very generous and sent me things, which you're very naughty. I really appreciate each and every one of you for taking part. You're also so kind in the comments. You're just lovely. So thank you so much. I will probably watch this back, find the video suggestions. If you want to reach out to me anytime, or David, drop us a DM, drop us an email. We would love to hear from you at any point. If you need any help with your birds, or if you have any suggestions. And as we said, if you want that book, you gotta let us know. So yeah, do you have any closing remarks?
No, thank you all for joining Sophie's live stream. As I said, probably my fault it was so noisy because of all the excitement of me coming home. The next one we're probably going to do is going to be on my channel, which is going to be a short training tutorial, probably with Baby Olive because she's like the best example. And then some questions based on training, or any other questions you have. Someone asked for a festive live stream. Maybe we may do a combined one or something for that, but I'm probably going to do just the usual special with like ideas and fun things in there and some training, because it's a lot easier to just film the training and get it right and then show it, because obviously you want everyone to enjoy it and like not have chaos while it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first one, so the first one's always going to go wrong because it's the way it is. So
and with the training with Olive, I'll probably have to do it a little bit further away, so you might have to zoom in just in case, because obviously she doesn't like the laptop too much yet. Unless we do some decent.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some decent with the laptop. But yeah, again, thank you so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you for being so lovely. So yeah, thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. And let's look forward to the next one, which will be quieter. But yeah, thanks so much, guys. And also, if you're watching it back, then thank you for watching it back as well. So see you later, guys, and take care.
Bye-bye.